when I told them, well, from now on it's going to be online schooling, they were like, yes, we get to be home. And like almost like if it was a day off. But it's important to emphasize it is absolutely not a day off, and it is for us to treat it as parents like if it's not a day off. You have to make sure they know that, okay, we're going to set up an area, this is going to be your work desk, this is going to be what you got to do, and in the morning we do the structural, we wake up at a certain time and we go on to our day like if it was normal school. But unfortunately it's not to be treated as a day off, and the children have to understand that. Two sons, one that's in the primary school in class 4 and one that's in 4th form, high school. And the two experiences were very different because of the age of my children, the method of delivery also, and the personality of my two kids, my two sons. With my youngest son, it was a little bit more of a challenge because he's more of a sporty kind of person. And my oldest son is intellectual. So with the two personality, it was two different experiences. With my sporty son, he's very social also, and he likes to normally at school play sports during the lunch breaks, during any breaks, and socializing. And being in his room, for example, was quite of a challenge. He found that depressing to be in his room and not seeing everybody and not seeing what was going on around the house. And also because we had to kind of block up the sunlight because of it was live classroom. So we had to close the curtain. He couldn't see outside. So we had to do some restructuring when I said, how's online schooling? And he said, I hate it. I knew that there was something wrong. So we did some restructuring. We positioned him in a place in the house that was a little bit more busy, in a quiet corner though with a backsplash that was of course neutral, but we also had some sunlight directed in a different way and a window that he could see outside, and he felt like he was more part of what was going on around him. And for him that was the best for him to learn. Now with my intellectual son, now it was also a different experience. He's accustomed to be working in his room. He always liked and enjoyed doing his homework and assignments in his room and online class. Now we had to set up his room, so clear up the desk from clothing. And being on his bed, his posture started to be bad. He had backache, and I find that the motivation was not sustained. So we clear up the desk, try to restructure the desk, and made everything that he needed for his learning accessible, available, and then we I had to make sure that I go to him for him to take breaks, because he would be the kind of person that would be working nonstop and then get overwhelmed. So I would have to make sure he takes breaks, some water breaks, a little walk around the house, make him come outside and walk the dogs with me. Things like that we didn't deal with before. There are some children that, just like us adults, it's important to know how our children learning best. For me, I know that I'm a little bit more productive when I'm in a busy cafe, for example, if I have a paper to write. And some children really need to be in an environment that's a little bit more busy around them. Nothing to not have them focus or focus their attention somewhere else, but something that make them feel part of an action. And there are some children that definitely need more quiet, like my oldest son would definitely need a more quiet environment in order to focus. But it's important to learn to know our children and how they can better prosper in this online schooling. In our family, we decided that we was going to get up in the morning a little bit ahead of time. Now there's going to be a mixture also of online and regular school. And what I intend is to always get up at the same time. And of course, for the primary level, there's going to be a bedtime, and for the high school level, still a certain cap time in the night that he cannot go to bed after without being rigid about the schedule. But in the morning, everybody has to be up at the same time. And then even during the full online schooling, we used to get up, get dressed, take a shower, have a good breakfast to start the day. I even used to make lunch boxes because I realized that they're excused to come to the fridge many times a day just to idle around, open the fridge door and tell me there's nothing to eat. It used to be frustrating as a parent, time consuming, and it raised up the electricity bill. But anyhow, with the lunchbox by their side, they're allowed to have more flexibility in what to eat, when to eat it, and whenever they have a break, they can go and pick on it. And then we used to do the homeworks, and just like if it was a regular day. And with the Google Classroom, it's really easy to know the work assignment that's been put in place, and then when they submit it, how they submit it, and also the teacher's feedback. So Google Classroom became a really good tool for me. But structure is definitely the key to success for the online. We just have to behave just as if they're going to regular school in a way. So during the time we would normally use to commute, I use that in our advantage in a way. My oldest son, the one in high school, he's a lot more productive at night. So if he has to do revision for the next day, it would be more at night. In the morning, he's a sleepyhead. I can't get through to nothing with him. He's be yawning, so I let him do his thing, catch himself, have his little tea, and read back his email or do whatever he has on his phone. My youngest son is really sharp once he gets up in the morning. At the end of the day, he's normally tired and nothing goes through. So I would use that time to do some revision, some for tests, for upcoming tests, or things like that at school, or things that he didn't quite grasp during the week. I am a technologically challenged parent, being technologically challenged, I realized my children knew a lot more than me, and sometimes, especially on the primary level, they were able to fool me in certain ways. There was always computer problems. I guess the computer was freezing, or the teacher, or there was some Wi-Fi problems when the attention level was really down, especially on a Friday afternoon, I guess. I had to learn a lot with technology, and I did that through the parent chat rooms that we have with the school. We had one specifically to my youngest son's class, so that really helped. We exchanged a lot of tips on that. The teacher was extremely accommodative also. I did ask a lot of friends that are a little bit better technologically than me about different tips and tricks to make things work. And yes, I'm pretty proud of myself, I think. And my oldest son, too, was there to teach me a lot about different things. And fortunately for me, he was able to correct his own little problems that he would have. As a matter of fact, I don't really even have a lot of patience for homework, for example. So for me to do online schooling, I saw it as a big challenge as a parent. Knowing that I'm not very, I even struggling to do homework at times. I just don't have the patience to do it. So the father of my children would come in, and he would step in to do the homework part. But what I have is structure, so it was easier for me to be there to make sure that the online schooling was doing well and running well. So that it would be, the breaks that they're supposed to do, the attention level, the focus level, and to check on the Google Classroom for the assignments and stuff. It's also important when you are a family to dispatch the load and to work with the different ability of each other.